Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day, these days directly from my basement. Welcome to my basement, everybody, because we are in self-isolation like all of you are out there, and I thank you very much. We want to dedicate this rundown to all of the doctors and nurses and workers at children's hospitals all over the world. Right on the front line, obviously, during this pandemic, but day to day, taking care of kids, you are heroes, and this rundown is all yours. It turns out we'll be playing The Last of Us 2 sooner than you might have expected, and maybe even sooner than the developers expected. Sony and Naughty Dog have announced that the post-apocalyptic game will land on June 19th. That's barely 2 weeks after its original release date of May 29th, which was scrapped earlier this month, with Sony at the time saying that the game was delayed indefinitely. 2 extra weeks doesn't exactly sound indefinite, so we're getting the game a lot sooner than many of us had expected. There may be a reason why Sony is doing this. Over the weekend, huge portions of the game were leaked online, with many of its cutscenes, including the climax, appearing on YouTube, Twitter, and other social media platforms. Sony hasn't said so, but the leaks might have forced them to get the game out as soon as possible. Another new Sony title, Ghosts of Tsushima, has vacated June and has been pushed back to July 17th. Now, this is just terrible news. I mean, it's good news that we're going to get to play the game a little bit sooner, but it's terrible news that people have leaked this game and leaked footage from it. I really hope that the rumors and speculation of disgruntled former Naughty Dog employees posting a lot of this content out there is not true. You know, this will just get super ugly if it is. You know, the internet is going to fan the fires of this, and it's going to spread all over the place. Do yourselves a favor. You know, support incredible work like what Naughty Dog always delivers, especially if you're a PlayStation owner and a fan. They are so consistent with their games, and sometimes it comes with some hard prices, and certainly there's some people that have felt overworked and maligned, I would imagine, but they represent a part of a whole group of people that have worked really hard to build something extraordinary for us. And I can only presume that The Last of Us Part 2 is extraordinary based on the catalog of incredible Naughty Dog experiences that we've played over the years. I'm so sad that, you know, a lot of the celebration of the launch of this game is being crushed. I mean, partially by the pandemic itself and the awful news of people losing their lives in reality. But if you couple that with this really shady reveal of a lot of stuff, it's awful. It's not the way to launch a game. And I'm sure Naughty Dog is horrified, and I'm sure Sony is horrified. But at the end of the day, we're likely going to get another extraordinary work of art. I can't wait to play the game. I will absolutely have some thoughts on it for you. Do yourselves a favor. Don't look for all of the spoilers. Try to shield your eyes on all that stuff. Now, it sounds like the next Elder Scrolls game is going to be even more massive than the last one. New rumors have come in about the Elder Scrolls 6, the first mainline entry in the franchise since Skyrim came out in 2011. Citing unnamed sources, a user on the Elder Scrolls wiki claims that the new game will take place in not one, but 2 new provinces, the mountainous High Rock and Hammerfell, 6 years after the events of Skyrim. That means the map could be more than twice the size of Skyrim. Bethesda is apparently using next-gen hardware to create more characters than ever before, with massive battles featuring hundreds of unique soldiers fighting each other. Keep in mind that none of this is official, but it's not much of a stretch to imagine that the new game will be bigger and more detailed than the last one. We do know that the new Elder Scrolls is using a retooled version of Bethesda's creation engine that was developed for their other big upcoming game, the outer space RPG Starfield. No release windows for that or Elder Scrolls 6 have been named. You know, clearly Bethesda always puts on a big show at E3, and I think that they are working on some kind of digital reveal on some stuff. So we may start to get an understanding of release windows for some of these games. The expectation is going to be enormous. It's definitely going to be tied to the next-gen technology and the next-gen hardware that is, you know, about to become our reality. I can't wait for this. And clearly what Bethesda has got to do is they've got to, you know, get past a lot of the shortfalls and the disappointments that were placed around Fallout 76 and to some extent Fallout 4, not really surprising us in the same kind of capacity that either Skyrim or Fallout 3 had done. So they've got to show us technology and extraordinary visuals and game mechanics that just feel so fresh. And if any company can do that, it is Bethesda. They are an amazing company. And, you know, I would say that there have been some misfires for sure from the publisher in general, but that core creative team that works at Bethesda headquarters, incredible talent, amazing people led by Todd Howard, and I'm super fired up. I can't wait to learn more, and it sounds like we're inching our way towards that. WWE 2K21 was canceled last week, but something is taking its place. 2K Games has announced WWE 2K Battlegrounds, an all-new game that's separate from the regular WWE series. The main difference with this one is that it's more arcadey, with simplified gameplay and a more cartoony visual style, along with over-the-top finishing moves and environmental takedowns. That arrives this fall. Looking ahead, 2K isn't finished with the main WWE series. They've confirmed that developer Visual Concepts has begun work on next year's WWE 2K22 and are taking the extra year off in order to learn from the mistakes of last year's WWE 2K20. In a statement, they say the next game will put a renewed focus on quality and fun, and to make sure it happens, they've brought on board longtime industry veteran Patrick Gilmore to serve as executive producer, having previously worked on games like Killer Instinct and Medal of Honor. No mention was made of original WWE developer Ukes. This Battlegrounds game looks like it's going to be a lot of fun for sure. You know, wrestling in sort of an arcadey setting is a match made in heaven. I know that Midway made a wrestling game years ago that was actually in arcades, kind of borrowing from the NBA Jam kind of vibe. And it feels like Battlegrounds is, edging towards that a little bit. That looks like a game tailor-made for me, who, I'm not the world's biggest WWE fanatic. As for Visual Concepts taking a break, that's never a bad thing. I think that there's a terrific mea culpa lesson there where they recognize that they fell short with 2K20, and, they're going back to the drawing board. We'll see what they do.
Don't trust anybody.
Hollywood has set its sights on a very surprising video game franchise. A live-action TV series based on the World War II shooter Brothers in Arms is on the way. Gearbox Software is joining forces with the S.H.I.E.L.D. producer Scott Rosenbaum to create a show inspired by the realistic feel of the games, and like the games, the first season will be largely based on real-life World War II battles. Brothers in Arms doesn't seem like the kind of video game that would typically get a Hollywood adaptation. There hasn't been a big console entry since 2008, so the franchise doesn't come with the same pre-existing fan base enjoyed by the likes of Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed. There's always a chance that Gearbox is planning to revive the franchise with a new game sometime soon, but no official announcements about that have been made. I was always a huge fan of Brothers in Arms. I thought that franchise was terrific, but it was so clearly influenced by World War II pictures that had come before it, and shows like Band of Brothers, and Saving Private Ryan. You could feel the influence interspersed through all the cut sequences and the dialogue with all the characters. It just feels weird and totally incongruous to think about a game that was so clearly based on other World War II media coming back to be a show with any kind of a feel of freshness about it. It's going to feel, just on first blush, just reading about this concept as a TV show, it's going to feel like a modern update to Band of Brothers, which, there were a lot of stories to be told during World War II, and Hollywood has an endless fascination with that time frame, so it could turn out to be a good show. But my suspicion, though, the fact that we're hearing about this right now, is that Gearbox is gearing up to bring back Brothers in Arms. You might have thought that you've seen the last of the characters from Rogue One, but in Star Wars, no one is ever really gone. The new Rogue One prequel series, focusing on the rebel Cassian Andor, has added another veteran from the film. Genevieve O'Reilly, who played the rebel leader Mon Mothma in the movie, will reprise her role in the new show, alongside Diego Luna back as Cassian and Alan Tudyk as the droid K2SO.
Did you know that wasn't me?
As for newcomers, the show has also cast Thor co-star Stellan Skarsgård in an undisclosed role, so we'll have to wait and see if he's a hero or a villain. No premiere window has been named, but we do know that the show is coming exclusively to Disney+, with Disney using the Star Wars franchise to shore up the burgeoning streaming platform. Several other new Star Wars shows are already in development, and the second season of The Mandalorian is scheduled to premiere this fall.
I like those odds.
I can't wait for this show. I thought Diego Luna, especially upon repeat viewings of Rogue One, really made a compelling hero as Cassian Andor. I thought he was a little bit slight when I first saw the film, but Cassian Andor really grew on me, and I just really admire Diego Luna as an actor, so I'm super happy that he's getting a chance to go back into the boots and become this roguish hero in the Star Wars lore once again. And not everything is going to be perfect, but what I think the Disney Plus service really provides is a chance for experimentation and for trying different things, and because we can have stuff like The Mandalorian, which is 30 minutes of Star Wars, and not every episode is perfect, it's okay. We can come back to it. And in the long run, it may help to kind of win fans back that have felt a little bit burnt out by Star Wars on the big screen recently. The film industry is going to keep feeling the impact of this global pandemic even long after it's over. COVID-19 has already caused delays in most of this year's movies, and with production unable to resume anytime soon, it's starting to have a bigger effect on next year's movies as well. For starters, the third Spider-Man movie starring Tom Holland was slated to land in summer 2021, but will now arrive in November 2021. Marvel already had Doctor Strange 2 scheduled for the same month, so now it's been pushed back to March 2022. Action! Another new Spidey film, the animated sequel to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, has been pushed back from April 2022 to October 2022.
Wait, what?
Over to another studio, Paramount Pictures has pushed back the new Mission Impossible movie from July 2021 to November 2021. It was set to begin filming in Italy just as the pandemic broke out, and the film's director, Christopher McQuarrie, admits that they may have to rewrite the film with another country because Italy will likely have to remain closed even after other countries reopen. The ripple effects of this pandemic, we keep talking about it, and I know it's a bit of a drag, but it's also fascinating to see the maneuvers of Hollywood during this, because clearly this is a business built on mass amounts of people coming to be entertained. It takes an army to make a lot of this entertainment, and then it takes armies of people to come together and consume this entertainment and keep this, incredibly important industry afloat. And yes, I know I've said this before, I would be very grateful for the studios to just say, okay, look, we can't get you into the movie theaters and let's entertain you at home with digital releases. I'd be cool with that. But I also cannot wait to get back into a movie theater. But I'm not stepping foot into a movie theater until I feel safe. And, honestly, I suggest that you do the same. Action! All right, you guys, that's going to do it for our rundown today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new episode for you. I just reviewed all 60 games on the TurboGrafx 16 Mini, so please check that video out if you haven't. It was a lot of fun to dive through all of those games. I'm still playing a bunch of them. Such a great console. And there's lots of other features for you to check out. If you dig our channel, please hit that subscribe button and that little bell for the notifications. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. Thank you so much for sharing. We'll see you tomorrow, and until then, play forever.